Hey gang, just checking in. Made it to Kentucky. It's been a really uneventful drive so far. Fantastic. Little Nissan's doing great, pulling the 5,000 pounds. The power is just not an issue at all. I have the power to go pretty much whatever speed I want. The hills, like I just made it through the Appalachian mountains right there, northern Tennessee. As soon as you get north of Knoxville, they start. And you got, I don't know, maybe 30 miles of them, something like that. And some of them are pretty big, but nothing like what they have out west in the Rockies. And also, I would say the Appalachian Mountains too, up in Maryland, can get pretty long and steep. So, and West Virginia, I don't want to disclude anybody. I don't know why it's important to me, but the problem isn't the power. The problem is the ass. I mean, what I'm pulling, it probably does weigh more than my truck. I think my truck weighs about 4,700 pounds, something like that. Maybe not quite that much. But the power, it's got like 315 horsepower, and I'm sure it's got a good bit of torque too, which is crazy. This has more power than my old Dodge 2500 with a 5.9 gas engine. This has more power than that, no doubt about it. So, anywho, you might see Louis. Yeah, you can see him right there. He's looking. Yeah, Pippa tends to stay down a little bit, but anyways, dogs are all back there. I just took them for a walk at a rest stop, and I'm very happy that the trip's going as smooth as it is. But I did have one situation. So I stopped to get gas, and whenever I was getting back onto the interstate, I basically had to stop and turn right to get on the ramp. And well, it kind of snuck up on me pretty quick, and I really had to kind of get on the brakes. And you know, it was dry pavement, and my anti-lock brakes were doing their thing because I was about to skid. The trailer was just pushing me. And that is the only thing that I'm really concerned about. Aaron, I think you were the one that said for an 18-year-old without any experience, yeah, this would be a hard trip, but for you, you know, it won't be any issue. And you know, you're right, but you know, I'm sharing stuff, and you know, I want to give you guys some entertainment. But yeah, I've made trips like this dozens of times, and it's not an issue. But because I have a good bit of, not training, but experience in this, I know that if I have a slippery situation and I have to dynamite the brakes, that's jackknife central right there. The trailer's just going to push me and turn me. And so knowing that ahead of time is what hopefully will keep me safe, because I've got a long distance between me and the vehicles in front of me. And constantly looking in your mirrors, knowing where the other guys are, constant vigilance. And that's on the motorcycle, man, that you have to be constantly vigilant, because they don't see you. They don't see you. And even if they do, they're not scared of you in the least bit. And so therefore, they'll take risks that they wouldn't take if you were in a big truck right beside them and stuff. So anyways, the trip's going swell. I'm all set to make it on the other side of Columbus, probably about 5 p.m. You know, the GPS is telling me 3:30, but I'm going slower than most traffic. You know, I'm maintaining pretty much 65 miles an hour. right lane driving the whole way. And, you know, there's stops and everything. My little Nissan can only go about 200 miles before I have to fill up. And so I'm typically filling up around the 175 mile mark, which means I'm getting 11 and a half miles to the gallon. Woo! That's low. This truck on a trip like this would normally get me 22 to 24 miles to the gallon. But, you know, you haul twice the weight, it cuts your gas mileage in half. So anyways, but yeah, I'm no stranger to this kind of stuff. I got two stories that I wanted to share with you guys. First is I've had trucks so loaded down in the bed, and I know a lot of you guys have too. You know, this is not a Bodie's the only one that can pull this off. But I had a little F-150. I think it was like a 1999 F-150 with the V6. Those were great V6s. The 4.2, I believe it was. Nice, big, honking. Or not straight six, a V6. My bad. Yeah, I know a lot of you will go, the 300 straight six is the best, blah, blah, blah. And I like those engines too. But the V6 4.2 was a great engine. I towed with that thing, and it just never let me down. Anyways, but the truck itself, the suspension can get overwhelmed very easily. Back in the 90s and early 2000s, they did not make 1500 series trucks as capable as they are today. You know, my Ram 1500 was a 2016, and that thing, I could put 2,000 pounds in the back of that thing. I did it, you know, and that was a lot. But yeah, my Ford F-150 from '99, oh, you put 1,000 pounds in that thing. It was like overloaded, you know. It just didn't have any suspension to carry anything. But I was getting some dirt, and the guy, I was like, just one bucket, you know. And he comes out and he's got the bucket, and he's like, how much you want? And I said, I want the whole bucket. And he just looked at me and he smiled and he goes, you want it all? And I was like, yeah, it'll be fine. And I'm sitting there, I got back in the truck, I'm sitting there, and he goes, koosh, and he just dumps it all in one pow. And that truck almost hit the frickin' concrete. I thought, oh my God, that guy knew. I didn't know. And so I don't know how much weight I had in it. Maybe 1,500 pounds worth of dirt, maybe 2,000. I don't know. It was a lot. But driving home, I felt like I was driving on marbles. I mean, I would turn the steering wheel to the right, and it would keep going straight for a moment. Because it wasn't skidding the tires. What it was doing was the rims were moving left and right inside the tires. So if I was going right, the tires were keeping their tread on the ground, but my wheels were like pushing outside like that. And it was just like I was driving on marbles. And the first turn that I took, I realized it. Whoa. And I had been in this situation with my dad. He was driving, and I couldn't believe it was happening. But then later in life with that 99 F-150, I was in the same situation to where if I was in a turn and like there was a little like lull in the road or a bump of any sort, that front end would bounce and my front end was bouncing slightly off the ground, or at least enough to where the tires were losing their grip on the road. Whoa. That is a freaky situation, and you got a pucker factor of like 28 on a scale of 1 to 10. The other story is you know, I mean, we grew up, you know, we were poor. And somehow my dad had traded, I don't know. I was probably about 10 years old, you know, 10. Keep that in mind. I was 10 years old. My dad had traded around and he got this, I want to say like a 1978 Mustang, or maybe it was like a Mercury Capri, you know. But it sat at our place for, I don't know, a month or two before he decided, I'm not going to do anything with that. I'm going to sell it to the junkyard. And, you know, I don't know, get $50 for it. I don't know. But, well, the only way he had to get it there was to pull it with his truck and have somebody drive the car, just with a chain, you know. If you've ever done that, the driver in the car being pulled is absolutely critical, because they have to keep the slack out of the chain. And so you want the truck to be constantly pulling you, and there's no slack in the chain. So whenever you come to stops, you're the person that should be riding the brakes pretty hard to stop the truck at the stop sign. And that way, whenever you do finally stop, he can take off and there's no slack in the chain. Otherwise, he stops and then you come up way too close and there's slack in the chain, and then he takes off and boom, it yanks the shit out of you, man. It's like, it's bad. So here I am learning that for the first time ever. I'm about 10 years old, and of course Dad he's taking all the back roads because he doesn't want to get on any kind of highway where a cop might see that a 10-year-old's driving that freaking car being pulled by a chain. And there was no interior in the car, so I was just sitting on the cinder block. And every time he would jerk me, that cinder block would roll out from underneath me, kind of thing. And so I'm no stranger to having my hands full with crazy ass situations driving vehicles. But all the experience in the world, shit can still go sideways. And that's why I'm really happy I just made it through the Appalachian Mountains. Sorry, Morgan. Appalachian Mountains. And I mean, I'm from Kentucky and we call them Appalachian. You know, whatever. Who cares? But I made it through that, so that's my first big hurdle. My second hurdle is making it to the other side of Columbus, because Columbus can get dense and a real pain in the ass, right? So I really want to get to the other side of Columbus tonight. And I'll probably stop there at a hotel and everything and then finish the trip tomorrow. But then my third hurdle will be probably whenever I start getting close to Cleveland, Ohio. That's whenever, I'm guessing, that's when, if there's bad road conditions, that's when they're going to start to show up. And from Cleveland to my house in New York, it's probably about 2.5 hours. And I'm kind of expecting that right there to be 4 hours, because I know that they just had a storm. My wife, I talked with her earlier, and she said she had the most beautiful trip into work, because they got about 6 inches of snow. And of course there was already snow to begin with, but they got about 6 inches of fresh snow. And she was like, it's like driving in Wonderland. It was gorgeous. It was beautiful. So I do know that they have snow on the ground right now, but the crews are probably out plowing it already and putting down their salt and stuff. And hopefully by the time I have to drive on it tomorrow, it won't be a big deal. Because in slippery situations, if I hit the brakes, that trailer's just going to keep pushing me into whatever I'm trying not to hit. And I still, my truck doesn't have snow tires on it yet. I just got the factory pizza cutters, and they're past their half-life, Not that would make really much of a difference, because they're going to suck in the snow anyways. But once I get up there, I'll get some snow tires on this. And my wife, she's already got snow tires on her car. And yeah. So far it's going well, very well. Good traffic, it's nice and smooth. This is one of the better trips I've ever taken up here, with just as far as traffic goes. It's nice. And then make it through Columbus this evening. Get to the other side of Columbus, stop there for the night, and then tomorrow morning start dealing with the inclement weather. But I'm very excited to get there. Honestly, I don't even know if my trailer's going to fit down the driveway, because my wife, she's telling me she's like, it's really narrow, because there's no place to put the snow. But a lot of it has melted, and since that great big storm around Thanksgiving, since just before Thanksgiving, she started getting snow up there, and since then she's had about 5.5 feet. This is supposedly like record-breaking snowfall for the Chautauqua area. They've never gotten this much snow this fast, this early in the season. So anyways, look forward to getting up there, and I'll keep you guys up to date.